Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
more?
Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And here we are again. Welcome to a seat at the dinner table. I am Taman.
And I'm Kim.
And tonight, my wife, she just got in from being super mom.
Oh,
So she doesn't have dinner in front of her. I guess I'm a bad husband.
nope, I already ate.
Oh,
It's
okay.
served. I just came from back to school night with the kids, and they served us little wraps. I didn't know they make turkey Italian.
Hmm,
I had the turkey
That's
Italian wrap.
different.
It's actually pretty good. It looked different.
Okay.
It looked very different, but it was tasty. So I ate. Sorry.
It's okay.
What do you have?
I have beef tips.
Nope.
Nope. The beef tips to me.
It's roast beef.
Roast beef. I try to spice it up a little bit. So beef tips, some roasted beef tip with some
Purple cabbage and mac and cheese.
some violet cabbage with a dash of olive oil and the I don't know how to judge
Yeah,
it.
stop.
Macaroni and cheese. Um, so tonight we have a very special guest as always for the entrepreneur spotlight. They are all special guests. But me personally, I am very into real estate. As you know, if you don't know, I'm a realtor. So anything real estate related, I'm excited about. Um, you want to bring him on? Yes, sure. So here we have the CEO and president of Equity Saviors Incorporated, Mr. Lionel Ingram II.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me and for that introduction. I
Thank you
appreciate
so much
it.
for being here with us.
I need to edit the name. It's just got my name.
That's
I'm
all
sorry.
right.
I'm being
Don't worry about
selfish
it.
today.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, he looking
So
out for self. He looking out for self. It's okay. Because we thought it was gonna be, for a second, I thought it was gonna be the fellas just talking shop. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll go. Y'all want to just
no, absolutely. I was a little disappointed, but you know, I could definitely talk shop all night, with the fellas.
I understand. I'm actually glad that I made it back because, going back to the things at school, you never know how things are going to go. Kids will be kids and you just never know. So I didn't know if I was going to make it back, but I'm so glad that I did.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. Before we even get started, like I really appreciate you, number one, for having me, but more importantly for you guys and your story and what you're building together and what you're doing. It's so inspirational and
Oh,
motivational for me. So I just want to tell you that just off the top, I really, really appreciate you guys.
thank you so
thank you.
much.
Thank you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you. Yes, we do.
It warms my heart.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So this funny because this question is so direct and simple, and yet it's so complex at the same time because we're complex people. So me, number one, I'm a husband, uh, married to a wonderful, wonderful woman, my best friend, um, Toya, and I am also a father of a little 7 year old, or soon to be 7 years old, Skylar,
Okay.
and so that's going to be awesome. Actually, it'll be this week, so
Oh,
looking
wow.
forward to that. Absolutely.
Well, happy birthday
Um,
to
Happy
Skyler.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Skylar!
Birthday.
Shout out. So you know, to me, I'm a family man. Um, I'm a man of faith. That's one of the things we may get into it later, but that's one of the things and the reason that me and Tim connect so much because he's a man of faith. And when I spoke with him when we met, it was just instant. You
Yeah.
just pick up these things, you pick up that energy. So that's one of the reasons we still talk today, and are looking to do business together as well. so you can connect and network. But I'm a man of faith. I'm a family man. Um, I'm a man of like of giving. Like I really care about people. What happened. So that's just in my nature to be like a mediator sometimes. Um, what else? And professionally, I do real estate, and we're gonna get into that real soon. I kind of just fell into it a little bit, but yeah, we'll get into that soon here. How that happened.
Definitely, I mean, the way that we connected, it was definitely, I would say, meant to be. Not in like a fairy tale sense, but it's just, um, I mean, for all the links to have happened and still the connection, like you said, business going forward. It's just been a blessing, man, blessing.
Absolutely.
What you say?
I was kind of talking to myself. I kind of looked at the thing and I was out the front. I'm still trying to get myself together, y'all. Like it's if you're a parent, like when you're rushing around knowing that like there's so many things on your schedule for the day, it has you razzled until you get that moment of just sitting down and relaxing and releasing everything. And I haven't made it
Mhm.
to the relax and release yet. Like I ran in the house and sent the kids upstairs so they could eat because they're going to be loud. So I'm still
Right.
trying to get myself grounded.
Yeah,
I'm struggling.
I
I
told her she
haven't
got to
even
be
eaten
back on.
anything yet.
And she said, no, I wanted to be on.
I
So,
did. What'd you say, Lionel?
I said I haven't even eaten anything yet. I should have had my plate ready, but I don't want to be, I just wasn't thinking. I should have had it with you guys, but I said I'm
yeah,
gonna wait.
definitely. Just
I'm
as
a little,
long as you don't eat while you're talking or
I'm a
talk while
little.
you
We'll wait. It's not a pretty sight. We'll wait.
But then I appreciate that. I struggle when people are talking to me and they're like,
Yeah,
"Hey, hey." I struggle. I can't focus. So I appreciate that.
trust me, my wife would not have it. Would not have it. Okay.
Now, you said that you fell into real estate. Um, what kind of led you to fall into real estate and get to the point to where you have your company now?
Well, really, it was my older brother, Sean. He was in real estate back when I was in college. He was doing real estate. He was in flipping homes. He had a few rentals. Um, but my mind wasn't on real estate at that time, and he would always talk to me about it. Plant those seeds, right? He's very big on entrepreneurship, businesses, and even in high school, I was thinking businesses, but I wasn't thinking specifically real estate. So that was my kind of like introduction. He would give me books, um, and Rich Dad Poor Dad, which a lot of people are familiar with. Was kind of like a four-way introduction into real estate for me. And so, fast forward a little bit, I didn't get into real estate at that time. Um, it wasn't until after I graduated from Michigan State. I had started working for Blue Cross and Blue Shield for 5 years, and I just really was kind of tired of it. But during that time frame, I was reading, more and more different books about real estate, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try this out. And so I end up leaving Blue Cross and Blue Shield, end up purchasing a like a 6 unit apartment building that I can, manage and live out of. And that started, the actual real estate journey itself. And this was back in 2009, 2010. A little bit after the bubble or during that um, recession. And so that was a big learning, a
But
big journey. It's a big curve, going from theory in a book to actually applying it in real life. And so that was a tough time, a great time. It was a big journey. Um, what ended up happening was I did it for almost 3 years, and it just wasn't going well. I ended up ended up having to return the property back to the owner because I bought it on a land contract. For those of people that don't know, land contract just means I didn't go to the bank to get a mortgage to purchase the loan. The actual owner, you know what I'm saying, actually became the bank and allowed me to pay him directly. And
Yeah.
so, like I said, it was a one quick story. Okay, so this was the type of scenario I was going into green. Um, Turns out that the owner of the property wasn't even getting paid the way he said he was in the rent rolls. You know, because they're
Hmm.
supposed to document all these things for you and let you know that, you know, this is how much income is coming in, this is
Right.
the tenants and all of that good stuff. Turns out he wasn't getting paid in money. He was getting paid in, um, well, I'll just say he was getting paid in,
No.
can I say it? No, 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 it's not that bad. I was about to say drugs. He was getting paid
Okay.
in drugs.
My mind went
Yeah,
way
don't
left.
go that, don't go. Well,
Okay.
all I can prove is that he was getting paid in drugs. I don't know what else he was getting paid,
Okay.
but he was
Okay.
getting
Okay.
paid in.
You know,
in
you know,
it's
it's sad when drugs is the oh phew.
Right. It's like a cool type thing.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay.
yeah.
So
So
drugs do not equate in money in these types of transactions. So
yeah. So it was a learning lesson. There was a lot to repair, renovate, and so the long and short of it was three things that really, now that I look back, um, that I should have done differently is I should have reached out to more people for help. Had a mentor in that process with me.
mhm.
That's one thing. Two, budgeting for your renovations.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I thought I was budgeting pretty well, but once you get into it, you realize that there are a lot more expenses than you think going in, and so you got to have that cushion, those reserves.
Definitely.
So those are a few of the lessons that I learned in that process, and it hurt, you know, to go through that. To feel like, you know, because I feel like a failure when it didn't work out, and I had to kind of start all over. But that that taught me, you know, quite a few things that transitioned me into what I'm doing now.
Gotcha. So sorry, go.
I was just gonna say I've actually heard quite a bit of different people now, and I jump into y'all's world now with Saman getting into real estate and investing. So I feel like I know a little bit now. But I hear a lot of people do get like their first properties, they'll get like a duplex or something and live on one side, or like a one that has multi units and they'll live in there as well as renting out the other units. And I feel like that was kind of that's something that I would do. But with us being married with kids now, that I'm not doing that now.
Hmm.
But if I'd have known that back then, like when him and I first met, that's something that I would have definitely done. Got a unit, lived in it, as well as rent out the rest of it just to start. But I've heard a lot of people doing that now.
I wish I knew that. If I knew that, then that would have been the route that we would have
Mhm.
taken. Then
Yes,
we would have.
indeed.
But I mean,
Absolutely,
it,
absolutely. They term that
everything
house
you told me.
hacking, right?
Yep, yep. When
And
I found that out, it was like, wow, I have kids. That's not gonna work.
Nope.
So
listen, I tried to talk my wife into it now, later on, like now, but she
Mhm.
mhm,
wasn't going for it. She wasn't going for it. Mm-mm.
And it's like once you establish that y'all are we married. I don't want to be walking out my unit and looking at someone else and knowing like you live in my place, and if you get on my nerves, I want to put you out, but I can't
Right.
because like y'all might get into an argument and take it out on everybody else.
that's
Hmm.
definitely some game that I try to pass on to like my little brothers.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in their early 20s. Um, so and they're all single. So I mean, that's the best time to do it if you're, you know what I mean. If you're trying to get a house,
Listen,
and when you start putting numbers together, they'll. Ooh, really? Wait a minute, I'm at a plus here.
Right.
listen. I tried to tell my sister, because my sister she has four children, but they're, you know, they're adults or about to be adults, um, almost. Well, actually, they're all 18 and over, and so I was telling them during the same time that I was thinking about it, because this is recent. In the past 4 years, I was trying, to go that route again. And I told them, because they were already living in the house, like, listen, y'all just go buy, pool your money together, go buy you a 4 unit, um, and move in however many units you need to,
Right.
whether that's one, two, or three, and then just generate money off the fourth unit, or you can live in all 4 units, because your mortgage on the 4 unit is still going to be less than everybody renting, paying $1,000 a month in 4 different spots. So you'll
Right.
still be saving money that you can pull together, pay down your debt, and then go ahead and buy another two, three, 4 unit. Couple of you move out, move into that one, and you keep reproducing, repeating that process. And in 4 or 5 years, you look up, you guys are debt free with 3 or 4 properties.
Yeah.
No,
I'm like, I missed out.
we didn't miss out.
Can I have some?
Go ahead. Go ahead, yeah.
Mhm. Sorry, that macaroni just hitting over that.
If
So,
I
so
Man,
we're it's okay. We didn't miss out. We didn't miss out. We're gonna get to where we're gonna get to. Okay. Um, Now, with your company today, what inspired you to turn your idea into a business?
so like I said, after my first foray and failure of real estate, I took time off. I left it alone. Probably almost 10 years, really. But just in getting back into trying to figure out what type of side hustle, right? This is 2010s and 20s was like, you got to have a side hustle.
right.
Hmm.
Um, and so I was like, man, I know real estate already. Let me get back into it. And so when I was trying to figure out what niche I was going to go into, um, first it was like wholesaling. Okay, wholesaling is was really big. Didn't need a lot of money to get started. So I started that route, looking into that, and then that led me to what I focus on now, which is foreclosure recovery of excess proceeds. And so basically, what that means is, or actually, let me start with wholesaling. So most people are familiar with wholesaling. You go and you try to contact property owners that are motivated sellers that are either they're dealing with some type of distress, whether it be financial distress, whether it be marital distress, and they have to get divorced, whether it's death, any type of situation where they need to sell, and you try to get that property under contract at a good price, and then you turn around and sell it to someone else, an investor, for a higher price. Essentially, you're the middleman. But what you're doing for that property owner is you're solving a problem for them, right? Like they need to get out of this property quickly, and you're that avenue because maybe that property is distressed and they're not able to sell it on the market with a realtor like Tim. And so that's where investors, wholesalers come in. So I would, so that's what I kind of started out doing. And what I found in like research and doing other things and reading was I got more into the process of what foreclosure is and what happens after foreclosure.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize, and I didn't realize it until I found the information, is that when your home is sold at a foreclosure, whether it's due to a bank foreclosure because you can't make your payments, or if it's due to tax foreclosure because you haven't paid your taxes, or any other type of judgment that may happen, through the court system. Once they auction that property off, whatever is made from that sale is applied towards that judgment. But if there are proceeds left over, that's usually to go back to the property owner. So that means that foreclosure process is the same thing as if you're selling your property on the market,
Right.
right? If you list your home with a realtor, you sell it for 150, you owe 100 to the bank. That 50,000 should go back to you because you're the property owner. When you're in foreclosure, that doesn't, that doesn't really click because you're so distressed. You're so, as you alluded to earlier, Kim, frazzled from everything that's going on, right?
Mhm.
You're so frazzled, you're upset, you're emotional, and this is how I was, and this is what struck with me personally. This is how I was when I was going through my troubles with my property that I owned.
Mhm.
I was so emotionally, hurt and really depressed from, you know, a failure, as I looked at it at that time, of not being able to make this work, that I didn't look and research the actual options and find out what the process is and what happens. And so that's what's happening when people are going through foreclosure. Their property is being sold at auction. A good amount of times there's money that is left over that should go back to that property owner. The county or whoever is handling the auction um, is responsible for reaching out to their property owner so they can send them their check. That
Mhm.
doesn't always happen. They don't always get it because if you're going through foreclosure, somebody's coming to take your home, you've moved. You're somewhere else now, right? Or a lot of, especially what I run into is the person passes away. The family doesn't know, the heirs don't know. They don't, the court doesn't have their information. So what happens is that money sits either at the court level, at the county level, or with a trustee. Okay, so what we do is we contact the people that have money that's being left over, and we let them know that there is money and funds to recover, and we go ahead and recover that money for them. We handle everything. We handle all the upfront costs. So all they have to do is pretty much just give us the information that we need so that we can recover the money on their behalf and get them the equity back that they deserve. And so how I how that idea is kind of how that happened, and that's where the name Equity Saviors came from. It's really about the importance of equity for ourselves, for our community,
Mhm.
and for us as a whole, because we need to really think about what equity is and the power that it has.
Definitely.
Um, Specifically when it comes to home equity, which most people are familiar with, but we're really even talking about on a bigger scale, right? As a community, as a network. Once we pool our resources together and start working towards a common goal, then we can become equitable,
Right.
right? People talk about equality versus equity. Um, and so those things are both important. But the more equity that you have, the more equitable that you and your community are, then that equality is going to have to come, right? It has to because with equity comes power.
Right.
So that's what our whole business, my business is really formed around, which is understand the importance of equity, how to make sure you use equity properly, and how to grow your equity. And so the three areas which we focus on is foreclosure, trying to prevent that foreclosure if possible so we can save that equity because when you go through that foreclosure process, those fees add up. Okay, anytime you go in through the court, the only one getting paid is the lawyers, the court system itself, and you, the property owner, the consumer, is paying. So that's what we try to do is avoid foreclosure if possible. If we can't do that, if we reach you after the foreclosure has already happened, then we try to recover those proceeds for you to get them back, get that equity back into your pocket. And then lastly, it's about growing your equity, reinvesting that money, taking the money that you have, reinvesting it, whether that's in real estate or other business ventures. But the only way to really grow your equity is to reinvest it. So that's our company pretty much in a nutshell.
I mean, one of the ways that you make money or that you should be making money is when you're sleeping. That's when your money can grow, when you have it invested. Um, I, I mean that's huge because that's an area to where and people in foreclosure they feel like it's the end all be all, right? And if they're not able to sell their house and it does go into foreclosure, it's like, well, that's that. and there's no other options, to where you found a solution and a problem that, I mean, it's really, in a sense, a lack of knowledge that you're bringing forth to them that they may not be aware of, to where they may be able to receive something out of a situation that was originally negative. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts
Absolutely.
on that?
I'm sitting here like shocked because I never knew those types of things was even I never knew this was a thing. Um, my mom went through a foreclosure years ago as well, and I get exactly what you were saying. Like when people go through that, you feel like there's nothing else that you can do. She actually looked out to a couple of companies to try to help, but at the end of the day, they weren't able to help. But
Mhm.
just knowing that if you get into some trouble, if you get into a jam, like coming up on a foreclosure, because let's be honest, people lose their jobs, things happen, people get sick, things beyond their control, and then they end up in a situation of facing foreclosure. At least they know like there's some type of help or options for them to at least like alleviate some of the pain, some of the headache that comes along with it.
Absolutely.
That's really dope. Can you slide your chair up? Because you're on the wall. That's the half of it. There you go. Thank you.
And
Here's the speaking.
to your
Yeah.
point, Kim, that is really what um, separates that lack of knowledge and going through that process is really what separates the haves and have-nots in a
Mm-hmm.
sense. If in a sense. And so that's what we're trying to do is give you that knowledge to say, yes, you're going through something, especially now, with the amount of people that got laid off due to COVID during the pandemic and everything, and with the extensions about to expire, it's really going to be bad for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to know that it may not be the end all be all, especially because you have situations where people have paid their mortgage down, you know, over the years, and now they're running into an issue, right?
Mm.
But they still have all of this equity still in the property. But if
Right.
you don't know that, and if you don't know what to do, you're going to walk away and think, oh, well, I have no options.
Right.
And I actually have a story because I'm here in Michigan. And so let me say this every state is a little different
Mm-hmm.
due to state law. So some states handle the foreclosure process and the excess proceeds a little differently. So, everything isn't the same across the board. But for us specifically, we just had a case go to trial, and where a person had, a property owner had their home, they owned it outright, mortgage was
Mhm.
paid. They were they had their taxes. They paid most of their taxes, but they were like a dollar or a few dollars short by mistake.
Wow.
They foreclosed on that property and sold that property.
Wow.
Wow.
Not only did they sell the property, they kept the proceeds because during that time and up until this point, Michigan, if they sold your property due to taxes, there were no proceeds. They didn't give you the money back at
Wow.
all. That was just the way this law was set up. And so they essentially stole his property for like less than $5,
Oh my
sold
God.
it, and kept all of that money. And so he took him to court. He won his case. And so now they're overturning, well, now they're changing the law to
Mm-hmm.
address that issue because that's just ridiculous. You mean this person owns this property outright, and because of a $5 error or whatever it was,
Right.
you're going to sell his property? Come on now, that just doesn't make sense, you
Wow.
know. And so it's nothing new. It's something that's actually been happening for years.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the states, will at least, even though I don't think they should be selling the property, but at least they will give you those proceeds back. But still, not all states do it. So it's just sad to see.
That's insane. But shoot, I don't want the proceeds. I want my property back. Let me do what I want to do with it.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
So from your introduction and just everything that you said, you kind of answered this next question, but I'm gonna formally ask it. Um, how and why did you choose your niche area of helping and consulting in the real estate industry?
Yeah, it's just because of my personal experience. I know what it's like to be, excuse me, honestly, just to be depressed. Just hurt because you're getting kicked out in a sense from your property, to feel helpless. And once I learned it, and once I figured these things out, I want to be able to help other people. And so that's why I jumped right back into that area.
And that's one of the areas that I mean, I feel like there's an area to where there has to be knowledge that's given. And whether it's from the lessons that you learn or from the knowledge you read or seminars or whatever the case may be, but giving back to those that don't have it. And not saying that they're less than because they don't have it or that you're quote unquote an expert because you know. It's just that you're sharing something to help them in their situation. I mean, any new information that can be positive to the benefit of your livelihood, I don't see why you wouldn't take it. And I mean, with you having a heart of wanting to help, it makes that even better. And I know that brings even more joy into you wanting this business to thrive because in the end of the day, you're helping people, and it's just a part of you.
Absolutely. I've run across many customers, especially my beginning customers, like just helping people save their home. Like I didn't make any money off of it. One of my first clients was in my complex, because I'm in a condo, and so just letting her know, she didn't even know that her property was about to be foreclosed on.
Wow.
Um, and the crazy part was is that her property was getting foreclosed on by our condo. People don't realize that their condos can foreclose on them.
Yep.
And so she thought when she saw the notice, because she saw the notice, but she thought it was from her bank. And so she called her bank and was like, "Hey, I got a notice in the mail, but I know I'm good with the bank. What's going on?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's you're good with us." And she
Mhm.
just left it alone. And so, once I reached out to her, and she told me what was happening, I explained everything, and she was able to go and get that situation settled, pay the condo so that she can keep her property. But I didn't make any money off of that. But knowing that she was able to stay in her property, that was the fulfillment, knowing that I was able to help someone. Now, are we a business for profit? Absolutely. do do I need to make money? Absolutely. But more importantly, it's the impact.
I was sitting here thinking that when you were explaining about how you guys go about how the business is, I was like, I don't know if I can ask that or not, but like, so how do you make money if you're going out and finding the money for these people and saying, hey, you got this out here? Like, how do you then make money? And I was like, maybe it's a nonprofit.
No, that's a great question. So what we do when it comes to that is basically we have a fee agreement, so we agree to a percentage of whatever we recover.
Gotcha.
The industry average is about 30% of whatever the recovery,
Hmm.
and it's a contingency fee agreement. So we don't get paid unless we actually, are successful in recovering funds.
Okay. Okay. That's dope. That's really good.
Now, what challenges did you have to overcome at the beginning of your journey when you first started the business?
Well, I kind of touched on some of the obstacles, but starting the biggest challenge, and I was thinking about this. For me, the biggest challenge was
Mm.
doubt and procrastination. Just whether or not, whether or not I'm gonna be able to do it, whether or not I'm gonna fail, quote unquote fail, like last time. Um,
You preach it to me. Go ahead.
So, just being able to identify it and address it and know that honestly, it's not going anywhere. Doubt isn't going anywhere. It's going to resurface, but you have to address it when it resurfaces and try not to let it hold on to you and stifle you too long. And
Mhm.
so that's just that. I would leave it at that. Doubt is like my biggest challenge and to overcome.
I know one of the things that with me and my wife, when she has doubt, I encourage her. But then I'd be trying to block her encouragement when I had doubt. Really, that fake stuff.
Yes, 'cause you do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's
It's
so
like
easy to give somebody else the other words, but then when it's coming back to you,
Yeah.
you can't receive it.
I mean, I received some.
So
I
I
mean,
don't know if that's a is that a man thing? I don't know. I don't
that's,
know if
that's
it's a man
I think
thing because we're
that's
like that too, my wife and I. Like
mhm.
she's very supportive, even even to the point that right before this interview, um, I was off and she's like she just comes up out of nowhere like, "You're gonna be great, babe." You know?
I love
And
that.
yeah, and it's like and I appreciate it. And but sometimes the man in me is like, okay, thanks, but like thanks, but you know,
I got
I
extra
don't
to
know.
be worried about.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
don't want you to worry about me. I'm the man. I just worry about you and take care of you. You know,
Let us love and take care of y'all. That's why y'all get married for that helpmate, help meet, whichever way it goes.
both ways,
But let us
both
take
ways.
care of y'all sometimes.
You
Yeah,
did. Destiny's Child song
I don't know. What you talking?
catered to you.
Boy,
It is
yeah.
a Destiny's Child
I
song.
didn't say it wasn't. But how
Okay.
you go there?
Because it just ran through my head like, oh, that means like cater to. But you know,
Mhm.
it's not like a catering, but you know what I mean.
It's a nurturing
Yeah, a nurturing that motivation in the back and cheerleader and whatnot.
marriage. Oh my goodness.
absolutely.
That's marriage, a good marriage.
It is. It is. So, in business, you're married to your business,
Mhm.
sort of. And what what advice or knowing what
The way you just transitioned into that question, it didn't work.
it
It's
did,
okay.
no, it didn't. Knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently, and what would you have kept the same?
Um, I think that what I would have done differently is um,
Made sure my man got paid in cash. I'm sorry.
right. Make sure you got. You know
Instead of
what?
the,
You
instead of
know
the
what?
drink.
All jokes aside, that is very important, and I know you deal with this a lot. Your due diligence.
Mhm.
Due diligence when you're purchasing anything, but definitely property, is
Hmm.
of the utmost importance, right? Um, so that is definitely one thing right there. But as I mentioned before, having mentors because your mentors will be able to point these things out to you and make sure you okay. Did you do this? They'll give you a checklist. Did you have this? Did you check this? Did you get a survey? All of those things. So having mentors definitely is a big thing, and also focusing during that time. I was just focusing on the learning the how do you put it, the technicals
Hmm.
of real estate in a sense, and how to run a business. At no point was I really focused on my own personal mental growth, mental health, you
Hmm.
know motivation. You have to be able to motivate yourself. You have to be able to speak life into yourself. You have to be able to do those things for yourself first, and that will help you to do the things that you want to achieve outwardly, right? And so now I'm, I'm more, more focused on, okay, my motivational words, speaking those aspirations, into myself, speaking positively, period. Um, trying to stay away from negativity, even if it's not just from me, just from outward negativity,
And
right?
hip- no, I'm
Yeah.
joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I
What?
can't. I'm a hip hop head, so I can't even. Go ahead, though.
Look, you gotta have your hip hop every now and again. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
So
compartmentalize it and
right,
keep it in this space.
right,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. So that's what I would have done differently. And what would I keep the same is just that willingness to try. You know, the willingness to try and see what happens and fail forward though. Know that it may not work out the way I want it this time, but I just got to keep going. And something else that I learned is you only lose when you quit.
Hmm.
So you know what I mean. And so as long as you don't give up, you still in the fight. You still learning. You still growing. You still progressing. So yeah, those are the main things that I focus on now.
Those some gems.
Hmm.
What you?
I'm trying to. What'd you say? You said as long as you don't quit, you're still in the fight, right?
Absolutely. As long as you don't quit, you still in the fight.
Man, it's rough. It's for
Uh-huh.
being like just having a business. It's rough. Whether it's a small business, big business, that doubt it'll creep in there and it'll have you really be like, listen, I'm done. I'll throw my hands up to it. It's too much. It's too many things coming at me one way or
Yeah,
another. So that's powerful because when you tell us I want to quit.
Yeah.
absolutely.
One of the things you touched on was mental health,
Hmm.
and making sure that you take time out for yourself. When I seen a headline, I don't know how long it's been, but the director or CEO of Bed Bath and Beyond, he jumped from a building.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like, this is one of the biggest companies in the United States of America. You would think on the outside that everything looks good because he's got this $1 million job and whatnot, but there was something deeper going on within him
Hmm.
that led him to that. And being in that position, in those type of positions, you're gonna have to have some time to yourself. As we in the culture would say that those 8 years of presidency aged Barack. But now he look like he getting the youth back. He just kind of got his groove back.
Yep.
It's like he looked like he's the same age now. It's like,
Yep.
okay, when was he? When did he leave? Was it 2006? He looks the same now, 2016 that he did. But either way, you just need to take time out for yourself. Be your own cheerleader, and I for one can attest to that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So I know you have mentioned being a dad and being a family man. What advice would you give to someone who's trying to become an entrepreneur or as someone likes to say, a dadpreneur?
Equality.
Yeah, equality. Equality, right? Oh, y'all had me cracking up. I heard y'all talking
It's
about that
equality
on
on that
the
word,
podcast.
man.
Y'all
Yeah.
had me cracking up. Um, Advice to give someone who is trying to become an entrepreneur. Aside from the things that I talked about already, time management is very, very, very important, and
Yes.
it's a skill that you have to learn.
Hmm.
And I am still in the infancy of learning it, but I'm not giving up, right?
Right.
Um, so time management and being able to, because like you just pointed out, Kim, it's so much going on when you're a business owner. You know, you really recognize a difference. And I was thinking about this after, when I knew the interview was coming up.
Hmm.
The difference between an employee and a business owner is drastic, right? And it's because as an employee, generally, what you need to do is already outlined. There's already, a system or steps put in place. And if there isn't, you have someone to go ask and they give you an answer.
Yep.
As a business owner, you are all those roles. You have to create the steps, make up the processes. When they're not working, you have to ask yourself,
What I do now?
what do I need to do now? And hopefully you can go research and talk to somebody else and ask them, and they may have some better insight for you. But ultimately, the final
Hmm.
decision is up to you about
Right.
what you need to do. And so, because of that, you have to be ready and willing to make that final decision.
Hmm.
And when the result happens, you have to live with it and then make your adjustment.
Right.
That that's a that for me is a difficult part of making that final decision and then making whatever adjustment, living with what happened and make whatever adjustment. And that space is like the part for me that I'm working on and focusing on, right? So that's the advice that I would give is that recognize that number one, you are the final say so, right? You have to make those decisions and you have to learn from them and adjust. And part of that is time management, right? How much time are you going to allocate to doing the different things in your business? And then but still leaving time for that balance for your family and for your children and for everything else you need to do. Because I mean, I still work full-time job while I'm running a business, while I have a family. Most of us are, right? So you just gotta work through that and continue to improve as you go.
That's awesome advice. I swear, every time we do these interviews, I get some nuggets every single time we do these interviews. And I'm constantly like clocking to memory because I suck at taking notes in my time management. I'm constantly clocking to memory things that I can do to implement into my own business.
Uh huh.
So I'm gonna try to implement some time management in there because I'm in the, you said you're in the infancy of it. I'm in the embryo stage. I'm in the embryo stage. I'm sorry. Man, listen, I can't get
Oh,
it together. I'm sorry. All right.
listen,
So,
that's the truth.
so with that being said, what do you want to accomplish next, or what do you want to achieve next?
So right now in our business, like I said, primarily we're focused on the recovery aspect, helping people get their money back because it's estimated to be somewhere around, last time I checked, somewhere around $40 billion of unclaimed property, which is another word for excess proceeds, um,
That's with a B, right?
with a B,
Okay.
with a B, yes.
Mhm.
They call it unclaimed property. Now that includes excess proceeds. That includes other things like bank accounts, that people. But it's equity or assets or money that's out there that hasn't been recovered or given back to the rightful owner. So our focus on right now is we want to recover $1 million worth of excess proceeds for our clients.
Mm.
So that's the number one goal,
Okay.
specifically for the recovery division. Um, Aside from that, we want to build out our foreclosure division as well, so that we can start helping people avoid the foreclosure in the first place. We've been able to help a few people, but we want to be able to build that out and help even more. So that's the two immediate goals, and then I'm gonna give you one more. And the reason I'm saying it is because it goes to what you said earlier, Kim, when your thought process of is this a nonprofit?
Mhm.
Um, and that is the ultimate goal is to be able to get to that nonprofit stage so
Mhm.
that we're not only helping people avoid foreclosure, but we're helping the transition process, right? We're helping to get people from that disaster state of something's distressed, something's going wrong, to okay, we have a system set up in place where we can help you go from here to get the resources and the skills that you may need. Say if you lost your job in this area, maybe we can find you, may help you find another job, or get you reskilled so that you can go into another career
Mm-hmm.
and get you back on your feet. Now, all that includes like housing. We want to be able to build, have apartment buildings and things like that, so we can house the people. Because if you don't have anywhere to live, you are in survival mode, and when you're in survival mode, it's hard to think about the future and what you're trying to get to. So that's where that's the big what's next, right? Is being able to put these things together so that the nonprofit can actually help people into getting in better situations and be able to tackle their life and really uh, achieve their goals.
I see why you and Tamon clicked the way that y'all have. Y'all are y'all are very like minded in the long term goals that you guys want, and I admire that in you guys. I really do. So,
Thank you.
Oh, I can't. Oh, this is a moment.
it is.
This is a moment. I'm gonna take it.
And that's just so, man, so heartwarming.
It is. No, his heart is in the right place. I mean, throughout everything, uh, all the knowledge that you've expressed in the interview, and in your business, it just shows where your heart is at, which is to help people.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're in a capitalistic society, so we have to work to make ends meet in order to survive in this country. But and ultimately, you're building a business and helping people and solving
Hmm.
a problem. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's to be commended.
Mhm.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And you can make money helping people or hurting people. You know.
Yep.
And
I'd rather help people.
yeah, with,
Hey,
with, listen, with the guy we serve,
Hmm.
right? I'm gonna go the other route. I'm gonna go this route. Okay, I'm gonna go this
That's right.
now, what is your why? Why is it so big?
route. Because
I'm
your
sorry.
why has to be big, right? Your why has to be big, as Eric Thomas says.
Choose
Uh,
that point, bro.
That was the most high right there.
Hey, what is your why?
Mhm.
um, I mean, my why, I kind of said it at the top. Faith, family. Um, that's my why. Being able to provide for my family, being able to protect, my family, being able to care for them, love them. All of that fuels what I do. And then you add in the faith aspect of, what we're put on this earth to do to help.
Right.
We are here to show others the way, to create a legacy for not only ourselves, but for those to come. And so, that pretty much, is my why.
Mhm. A great
And
word to have.
and actually, I'll give you because I think I know what the next question is, and I'll lead into the next question because it ties into my why.
Are you
Right?
done took over?
I'm
You done
sorry.
took over the
I'm
show.
sorry.
And
It's collaborative experience, right?
Hey,
So so part of my why, my daughter Skylar, um, is very creative, right?
Mhm.
So much so that she likes to read and write stories, and so she's reading a lot of stories. And my wife is creative as well, and so I don't know if you can see this.
oh, that's
Aw.
So
dope.
we took her stories and put it into a book format
That's dope.
called Life According to Skylar and Other Musings, a collection of short stories. And so this is one of my favorite books now. But
That.
um, but yeah, so just being able to see your children, your daughter, grow and learn and express themselves,
Mhm.
um, is what you do these things for. And so that is definitely my why. It's not out for sale yet, but it will be soon. So I'll let you guys know.
Yes,
It's
please do, because that was definitely going to be my question.
Yeah.
absolutely. It's not out yet, but it will be soon, and I will definitely let you guys know.
You didn't catch that. She
Now,
thought
what you say?
she definitely loves shopping.
Oh,
I
I'm
love
not gonna
supporting.
No, she does love supporting. She does.
listen. I'm not gonna
I
say
would
nothing but
support a
thank
lot of
you.
causes.
She will support a lot of causes. Amazon is one.
Lord, how many packages do you get daily? Huh.
I'm glad we have some stock in Amazon. Unless I need.
Yeah.
I'm slowing down a lot, okay?
Okay. Okay.
You have.
And then I group them together so they all come at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it look better.
That's
Does it that poor man bringing like 5 boxes to the door? Hmm. Hmm.
But definitely let us know when that book goes on sale because that is super dope. That's super cute. And she can say she's a published author.
mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yep.
And
Yep.
see,
And my wife, I just want to throw this out there real quick. My wife, she is like like I said, she's creative. So she puts the books together on what's that site called? Um, Can't think of the site right now, but
Mhm.
I don't need to give them praise. I'm giving my wife
Nope.
praise. So she puts the books together. She does like all our Christmas cards, and she's into photography. So she's like the editor, you know,
Mhm.
editor and everything. I did my part by just typing it up, and then she went to work. So my daughter wrote it. I typed it up, and then she put it all together and made it a complete package. And that's what women do. Now I think
Mhm.
about it, I'm gonna give you a bigger truth right here right now. Okay,
that is a fact.
man.
We put that
Women take
finesse on it.
women
That's
take
late.
these ingredients, right? They take these things and they be like, what can I make out of this to make it a package, make it more. And this don't
Mhm.
go together, but I'm gonna say it just to get on my wife's nerves. It make it more beautifuler, okay?
right,
It
right.
make it more beautifuler, all right? And so, yeah, man, my wife is awesome.
Well, shout out to your wife, Toya. You said Toya, right?
Yeah,
A man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing,
Yep,
right?
you got a good thing.
I do. My good thing likes Amazon. So,
Seriously. Shut up. Got some stuff coming on.
do you?
I do.
I thought you took a sabbatical.
I need a chair.
All right. So, can you recommend 3 books that were game changers for you?
absolutely. So the 3 books for me, I named one already, which was Rich Dad Poor Dad
Mm-hmm.
by Robert Kiyosaki. The other one was Think and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is The Richest Man in Babylon.
Ooh,
I think I've heard of
So,
that.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
I believe it's George S. Clayton, I believe. But you type in Richest Man in Babylon, it will come up. It's
Mhm.
just basically old school principles about money, about handling finances. And it's just tried and true principles. It's not a long read.
I
It's
got it on
kind of
PDF. I got all those books he just named. I got it on PDF. So, if you need them, I got you.
so
Okay, cool.
you already got it right. You
Yeah,
read them
yeah.
already.
I'm
So
ready.
so yeah, those outside of Life According to Skylar
Mm-hmm.
um, are the 3 books that were game changers for me.
Okay.
Um, I I would say the Rich Dad Poor Dad. I would recommend that with caution. The reason why I would say that is because if you're 18, 19 years old, or even a teenager, and you read this book, you're gonna jump out into a whole nother world and be like, I don't want to be in the E box. I want to be in the I box or the and so yeah, you're gonna have to have some prerequisites before you read that book.
When you
You have
get
to
there,
be in a different mindset.
mm, yeah, man,
So man, we definitely want to thank you for coming on. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. I'm sorry. I like the line. The
I
line
know.
is
I
dope.
love it. I love it.
It's a dope line.
I
It
know.
is.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the man has done, whatever, that is a dope line from a poet. So,
Oh,
all right. Now I know you said that you're from Michigan, so and I know that the majority of our audience is from Delaware. So let them know that your services are available in the state of
Absolutely.
Delaware.
Absolutely. So, as you can see on the screen, my company is equitysaviors.com. We actually work primarily in Delaware, because of a myriad of reasons, but Delaware is a wonderful place, right?
Mhm. Uh,
So, what's, what you say?
I just said, I mean, it was ranked 48 out of 50th for like things to do or something. And I was like, wow, that is completely true.
Listen, listen, business wise, it's a wonderful place. It's a
huh?
wonderful place. I say business wise, it's a wonderful place.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
Most
so
of the
we
Fortune
rely all
100
the
and
corporations
500
are.
companies, financial companies, they're all Delaware, right? So
yeah.
we rock with Delaware. Okay, let that. I just want to be
I do,
plain.
I do
All
too.
right, and
I love
so
it.
yeah, we are here for whatever services you need dealing with real estate. If you're going through any type of foreclosure, if you've already gone through foreclosure, even Kim, I know you spoke about it previously. We
Mhm.
can look back and see what happened, if there's anything out there that we can recover. For people that may have passed on already, they have property or things in their names that could be sitting there waiting to be recovered. So feel free to reach out. EquitySavers.com. You can reach us on the website. Um,
Mhm.
there's a form on the website you can fill out, or you can email me directly, Lonniel, my first name, at EquitySavers.com. And then I also have a Facebook, EquitySavers.com, as well as an Instagram at EquitySavers.
Okay, cool. And we can plug your information too on our page.
Definitely, definitely. It was a pleasure, good brother.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Shalom alaikum.
Listen, I appreciate you guys for having me, because you guys could have asked anybody else in the world, but you asked me. And so
Yep.
I appreciate that. Okay. And like I said at the beginning, I'm going to close with it. Keep doing what you guys are doing. It's motivating not only individually, but as a couple, as people in our community. Positive images, positive growth. It means so much. So thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yes, we do. All right.
Anything
So,
else?
I don't know. How do we do this? I be see. Okay, like I'm on another podcast, so I'll be thinking of the ending of that podcast too.
You got so
And this
many.
one
You
kind
got
of
so
thoughts in
many.
play. Say that again.
I said you got so many podcasts. I know it.
No, I
You
don't.
know.
Busy man. That's a busy
Yeah.
man. I got a scheduled appointment to talk to him.
Stop. No, you're
Uh,
going too far. You are going too far.
All right. Well, I don't know how to end it. We still trying to work on something to end it, but to everybody watching, thank y'all for watching. Thank you, Lonniel. And everybody have a great night.
Push your seat in at the dinner table. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night, man. Thank you, Mr. Ingram. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. See you.
See you.